Hey everyone, welcome back to Anchored Life with Kayla. Today is my first time filming in our brand new house since we moved in. So if you want to see the whole process, get a little house tour of our brand new home, you can check out my house building videos where I go through the whole step by step, straight from digging that hole in the ground to where we are today. So today I want to talk about how marriage is a choice that we have to make every single day. Being candid, marriage is not easy. I wanted to go on record and say that I love being married and I love my husband so much and I am so thankful to be married to him. But that doesn't mean that every single day is just an easy walk in the park. Before we get too far into things here, I just want to let you know that I'm not talking about abusive relationships here. That is not what I am referring to. So personally, I do not believe in soulmates. If you want to know more about that, then just comment down below in the comment section. But I believe that marriage is a choice. You choose the person that you're going to marry, and then for the rest of your life, you keep choosing to stay married to that person. Everybody looks at an elderly couple who's been married forever and thinks, oh, that's so cute. I hope that's me one day. But I guarantee you they did not get there by chance. They pushed through some hard seasons. They pushed through times when frankly the other person wasn't very likable, and they made it to where they are now because they kept choosing to work on their marriage. I recently celebrated my 7th wedding anniversary with my husband Bruce, and while it feels like we've been married so long, it also feels like it hasn't really been that long at all, especially when you compare it to the fact that we're hoping to make it to 75 years, which would mean that Bruce would have to live to 100 and I would have to live to 96. So we got a ways to go, but we'll see. But if you do a quick Google search, you will see that it is very common for around year 7, 8 of marriages for divorce to happen. And when I think about my own marriage, okay, now I'm at year 7 of marriage, and this is a very common time for people to get divorced. I think about why is that? By the time you've had 7 years of marriage, things are kind of getting into routine, especially for us now that we have a kid and things aren't really all about us anymore. We have to take care of our child and we've got our jobs and the bills keep coming and just the daily routines of life happen, and it can be so easy to just do the things that need to get done and not really focus so much on your marriage because, oh, my marriage is always going to be there. We're married. We're in for the long haul, so I don't need to worry about that right now. That is so not true. You need to be investing in your relationship on a daily basis to make sure that you actually do make it the long haul, because if you are not feeding and growing and investing in your relationship, it is going to be slowly shriveling up and dying, and then you're going to end up wondering, what happened to my marriage? What happened to those dreams we had for our relationship when we got married and we were so in love? How to stay married for life? Choose to invest in your marriage. Bruce and I are doing this very slowly by choosing to read The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman together. So because life is busy, it does take us a while to get around to reading another chapter every now and again, but we just read a couple while we were at the lake together. So I feel like we're a little more caught up. So we are just taking this moment. We sit there when we have some downtime, when our daughter is in bed, and we can just sit and we read this marriage book together, and then we can talk about the questions that go along with it and just really talk about some things that normally you don't get to talk about on a day-to-day basis, and things that are really important to us that maybe we didn't even notice that are really important to us until we actually stopped and looked at them and realized that, you know what, I would really appreciate this happening, and that would just make me feel even more loved and appreciated, and you know what can I do for you too? So having conversations like that, which sometimes you just need a good resource to help you to kind of have those conversations, otherwise they're kind of hard to get into. And I know that online there is some great video resources too if reading a book isn't really your thing. Sometimes we have a situation in our marriage where we want to make the marriage better, but the other person doesn't want to invest in the marriage, and then you might wonder, well, why should I even bother? They're not doing anything. Well, the last chapter that we just read in the 5 Love Languages talked about this, and It was referring to this one couple that the author had counseled, and the wife wanted to make the marriage better, but the husband was doing absolutely nothing to make it better. And just by the simple act of the wife deciding that every day she was going to try and make sure that her husband felt loved, even though he wasn't reciprocating at all, and it was super hard for her, eventually over the course of about 6 months, he just felt more loved, and then he started showing love back to her too. And it was this really beautiful story of how even though it can be really hard to make that decision to invest in your relationship, and it can be a daily slog that goes on for weeks, maybe months, maybe even years, that it is worth it. And at the end, you can have a marriage that is really worth fighting for. I think we all know the stats that divorce is more common in second marriages, and that a new spouse just means new problems. But sometimes in the moment when you are having a struggle in your marriage and the struggle is real, it just feels easier to just give up and maybe just go and try this whole thing with someone new. That's when you need to remind yourself that the grass is greener where you water it, and that you are going to choose to make things better where you are. I would love to hear how you guys are making your marriages better and how you invest in your relationships. So let me know down in the comments so I can hear your great ideas. I release new videos each week, so make sure that you subscribe and maybe share with a friend if you found this video to be helpful, and I will see you guys soon.